Okay, so you guys know that Jimmy Dore's a big man baby. The way I had described him was basically he's got a boy's brain inside of a man's body is what he is. But I thought I'd do like I don't know how long it's gonna go for, but sort of like a mini deep dive, if you will, and give you some straightforward examples as to what I mean to further, push my point and show you examples of what I'm saying and show you evidence of that, of course. So, as you guys know, Jimmy Dore, does not like, he doesn't like the fact that Bernie Sanders wouldn't come on his show and won't come on his show. Funny enough, Bernie goes on TYT. He just went on the Majority Report for, I think, a second time. He seems to know who Sam is as well, because when he addresses Sam, he seems to kind of know him. He goes on Tom Hartman's show. Bernie goes on a lot of the progressive outlets. He really does. And so he's not happy that he won't come on. He went as far as to say he hopes that he loses because he didn't come on his show. But we'll look at that later. So, you may be wondering, why does Jimmy Dore like Tulsi Gabbard so much when Bernie Sanders, who's a superior candidate, is in the race? Seems very odd, doesn't it? Well, it's because, if you recall, Tulsi Gabbard, when she went on Joe Rogan, gave Jimmy Dore a shout-out, as well as on the campaign trails I'll show you in a second here. But, those are the reasons why he really likes Tulsi Gabbard. But this video clip I have to show for you is one in which Jimmy Dore is so entitled that he thinks that anytime Tulsi Gabbard is in Los Angeles, she needs to come on his show, and he's gonna get a bit ticked off here that she's not doing that. Let's check this out.
So it's a big announcement, and I'll be talking about it tomorrow.
Will you have a special guest on?
We're gonna have Abby Martin on tomorrow. She's gonna come in at
Yeah, she's gonna tune in at what time?
3 p.m. She's gonna come on, and we're gonna start our live stream at 2. She'll be here at 3. And I don't know. I'll reach out if Tulsi's in town. Maybe she can swing by. I don't know. I'll see what I have. I don't know why she wouldn't contact us. I wonder why she's going back on TYT without contacting us. I wonder what that's about. By the way, our live...
That's really so weird to me, because he's done this on another occasion with Marianne Williamson. So he originally had an interview scheduled with her. She postpones it because, I don't know, it was a flight reason or something like that. I forgot. And he goes on his live streams and has like this weird theory that like, oh, she doesn't want to talk to a real truth teller like me. So it's like, if a candidate doesn't call Jimmy Dore up like all day long and really hit him up to like, yo, I'm trying to come on your show, he's like, what's up with that? Let me play that. Let me play a little bit for you once again.
Live stream at 2. She'll be here at 3. And I don't know. I'll reach out if Tulsi's in town. Maybe she can swing by. I don't know. I'll see what I have. I don't know why she wouldn't contact us. I wonder why she's going back on TYT without contacting us. I wonder what that's about.
What does he mean by I wonder what that's about? He's so quick to like just randomly put malintent to people in a really hasty way. And the best way to do that is if you're a candidate of any sort and don't want to go on Jimmy Dore's show. What's that about? Tulsi Gabbard's going on TYT. She's in LA. She's going on TYT instead of my show. What's up with that? What's going on with that? And so he's literally visibly pissed off that Tulsi Gabbard, okay, she's already been on his show. She gives him shout outs a couple of times, maybe even more than a couple of times, because I don't know the other times. But as you can see here, he's literally being a man baby. What kind of a child says something like that? Even if that's what you feel, like, you should have the professionality and understanding if you have a progressive indie media show. You would imagine that you probably don't want to bring that out if that's what you're thinking inside. Because it makes you look like a child, because that's what you are. So to Jimmy Dore, if you're a presidential candidate, you're in LA, you're Tulsi Gabbard, you're not coming on his show, and instead you're going on TYT. What's that about? What's going on with that? And so this is a big example as to why he's a big man baby. Now, let's take a look at this clip here. So this is a clip from Aggressive Progressives. This was the former show that was helmed by Jimmy Dore. I don't know if they found a replacement. If this show is still alive, you can let me know in the comment section. I actually haven't heard about this in a while, but he has left TYT, obviously, so he's not on Aggressive Progressives anymore. But this is a clip of him talking about Bernie Sanders not appearing on his show. Let's check it out.
Even Bernie Sanders, right? We've been trying to get Bernie Sanders on the show. And, his campaign, his guests got their head up their ass. And they can't wait to go on Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow, who shit on them every frickin' time. But someone who actually supports them is going to help to get their message out. They shun them. I hope you effing lose again. No. Right? Bernie's advisors are 60-year-old frickin' white guys who are in a bubble. Look how long it took them to get here. They let the Democratic National Committee completely rig the system, and they didn't blow a fire alarm. And they're still not talking about it, and the system's still rigged. And
let me play that little itty bit once again.
Their ass. And they can't wait to go on Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow, who shit on them every frickin' time. But someone who actually supports them is going to help to get their message out. They shun them. I hope you effing lose again.
So, as you guys see there, man baby Jimmy Dore, he wants Bernie Sanders to lose again because he won't appear on his show. Now, I'm genuinely curious as to what went into whether it's Bernie's decision or if it was his press, secretary or whatever, his press team, what it went into the decision making of being like, oh, we're not going to have you go on Jimmy Dore's show. But you can totally understand why they wouldn't go on his show. If you want to go check out all of the wacky stuff that he believes, just type in like Progressive Voice Jimmy Dore conspiracies or whatever. He's got a ton of them. It's insane. The list is literally endless. Whether it be like there's malintent on the government's part in putting fluoride in the water and stuff like that. So, I totally get why he wouldn't do it. But, even if he should, let's hypothetically say it's a situation where Jimmy Dore's not a lunatic and he's a normal person and Bernie Sanders not going on his show, put yourself in those shoes. You should not let that contaminate your opinion about someone who maintains the same policy positions as the same person fundamentally, as well as in every way, shape, and form, in terms of his policy positions, what he believes, all these kinds of things. You should be mature enough, intelligent enough, and measured enough to be like, okay, who cares that he's not coming on my show again? This hypothetical is in Jimmy Dore's a normal person, not a lunatic. Even in that situation, you wouldn't then have a desire or a hope for Bernie Sanders to lose because fundamentally his politics are the same. He's the same person. But because he didn't come on your show, you want to, that's a child, this is what I mean by a man baby. That's an incredibly immature, unintelligent, unmeasured response and thought to have. Like, oh, you're not going to come on my show, bro? I hope you lose. And by the way, yeah, it's important for him to go on Chris Hayes and all these other shows, all of them, because that's how he needs to get the message out and to break down the barriers for progressive messaging. I would argue it's far more important for him to go on those shows than on your show, because your show already all the people on your show already support him. He needs to go on those MSM platforms to break that barrier. Remember, the reason why he lost in 2016 was in part because he got cheated, but the other part because the mainstream media boxed him out. So when you're talking about that, that's far more important than him coming on your show, because you're at the time your audience did. Now I guess most of them are Tulsi bots or Tulsi supporters, whatever you want to call them. But if you want to know why Jimmy Dore supports Tulsi Gabbard over Bernie Sanders, which his support for Tulsi Gabbard has seemed to get less and less vocal over time, but he supports Tulsi over Bernie Sanders, not because of any, political type thing or policy position type thing. The reason he supports Tulsi over Bernie, Tulsi came on his show, Tulsi gave him shout-outs, gave him props on Joe Rogan's podcast, and I'll show you a little video here where she gives both Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore a shout-out on the campaign trail. So here's what so put yourself in the mindset, the brain of a man baby, which is Jimmy Dore here, right? The guy's logic here is, you won't come on my show, so I'm not going to support you despite you being fundamentally the same person politically. Put yourself in that brain and mindset, and then look at the vision of, here I have Bernie Sanders who won't come on my show. Here I have Tulsi Gabbard who not only came on my show, but is giving me shout-outs. Think about that. A presidential candidate is giving you shout-outs. That's pretty serious stuff, right? If you're an egotistical, selfish, dummy, that's going to be pretty important to you, and that's going to trump it. So obviously in his mind, it's like, oh, Tulsi, easy money, because she'll come on my show. She gives me shout-outs different places. Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, doesn't come on my show because I'm a lunatic. So I get why he supports Tulsi. It's an irrational position, but if you put yourself in a man baby's mindset, that's, you can find a way of a man baby's, illogical thought process as to why to support Tulsi Gabbard. So the reason why he supports Tulsi Gabbard is not because of some policy reason or any record reason or anything like that. None of that stuff. None of it. That's the reason why. That's the real reason why. And I think that Jimmy Dore, I think that he likes Bernie Sanders a lot more than he puts out, because you would think that Jimmy, go look at his liked videos playlist. It's public, so all the videos that he clicks like on, you can see. It's a playlist of those videos. There aren't that many Tulsi Gabbard ones in there from when I just checked. There weren't that many Tulsi Gabbard ones in there. The vast majority of the videos in his liked playlist are liking videos of Bernie Sanders giving a speech, him talking, his YouTube channel. You can tell he watches a ton of Bernie content. He really likes Bernie, but he doesn't show it for some reason. So I'm not sure if he's doing that out of spite for him not coming on his show, or if for him, I don't know. I don't know what it could possibly be. I looked. He's done one Bernie video in the past 3 weeks. He has done a few of them before that, to be fair, like a decent amount. But the way that he speaks about Bernie Sanders and how he doesn't, really push him like he did in 2016 during the primary, you can just tell. And I've also seen clips of him even saying that the options suck and stuff like that. So you get the point I'm trying to make here. There's something going on there. I don't know what it is, but a ton of his liked videos are Bernie speeches, Bernie rallies, all these other kind of stuff. So there's something weird going on there for sure. Now, this is a video of Tulsi Gabbard, okay? This, let me start this right here.
Hey everybody.
It's kind of hard to tell. It's low quality.
Jimmy Dore, Joe Rogan. You got the cable news, you got the mainstream news, you got the new media. We got to engage our entire country. This is what I'm talking about.
So this video, it is titled Tulsi Gabbard gives a shout out to Jimmy Dore and Joe Rogan, Concord, New Hampshire. So this is a video that is in Jimmy Dore's liked playlist. And that's when it really clicked for me. When I saw this video in Jimmy Dore's liked playlist, that was the moment that I realized, that was the epiphany moment for me as to why he supports Tulsi Gabbard over Bernie Sanders. I was like, it's because she gives him shout outs and goes on his show. Because again, think about it from the perspective of an illogical man baby. There's a presidential candidate giving your show a shout out on the trail, on the campaign trail, as a presidential candidate giving you shout outs. So from the perspective of a man baby who's incredibly unintelligent, immature, unmeasured, etc., that's like, wow, yeah, me. That's all about me. Yeah, that's when I had the epiphany moment. I was like, okay. So in conclusion, Jimmy Dore is essentially just a massive man baby. He's got a boy's brain inside of a man's body. He doesn't think very much. There's not much going on up there. And he's just, not very good, I would say. And I don't watch him anymore.